Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Virtual Bedtime Stories from your very own Newark Public Library. As always, we are recording this storytime stream on land that rightfully belongs to the Lenape Indians, and if you are tuning in from anywhere in our fair city of Newark, New Jersey, it is likely that you, too, are on land that rightfully belongs to that Indian tribe. I am your host, Mix Allie, oh my gosh, here with my co-host, Abby, who is very snuggly, always right when we are about to tell stories, and all the rest of the time, too. I don't think she liked being picked up, but I'm hoping that will keep her from trying to snuggle the camera too much. In any event, I am your host, Mix Allie. That is Mix, just like Mixing Bowl, not to be confused with Mr., Ms., Mrs., or Miss, because, as you can see for yourselves, I am not a boy, nor am I a girl. I'm a unicorn. And my storytelling companion is also a unicorn. Put your hands together for the one and only Jonathan Van Unicorn! Good evening, everyone! Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me and Mix Allie. Oh, you know what, Mix Allie? I find myself extra tired lately. Really, Jonathan, why is that? Well, you know, people seem to be a little bit more worried about everything than usual, and every time I try and go to sleep, it's as if a band is playing at the foot of my bed, and I just can't get to sleep. Oh my goodness, that sounds really frustrating, Jonathan. Well, I hope that maybe you'll find some solace in what we have lined up for tonight. We have a story about a character who finds a way to fall asleep even when everything happening around him is very difficult and challenging. And, yes, and we also, Abby, stop. Abby's gonna get herself kicked out of storytime, Jonathan. Oh, the disgrace! I hope she can get her act together. Abby, you listen here. I think he told her. Oh, I did. I just did it in the special language that cats and unicorns speak to each other. Well, I'm very glad that you were able to communicate that. So we are going to read a story about someone who manages to go to sleep even though everything around them is making it very difficult, and then we will do a little bit of bedtime yoga. Nothing too bendy, nothing too intense, just a little something kind of like the anti-anxiety exercises that we've been doing during virtual storytime to make it a little bit easier to go to sleep tonight. How does that sound, Jonathan? Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad that you got that covered. All right, Jonathan. Well, why don't you take a seat and listen, and we will go ahead and read a bedtime story and then do some nice, calming bedtime yoga to get ready for sleep. Oh, excellent. All right, I'll just snuggle up with Abby, who is thankfully behaving herself for the moment, and then we'll do those exercises together. I think that sounds great, Jonathan. Mwah. Thank you for being here tonight. Oh, you're quite welcome. Oh. Jonathan sure is sleepy tonight. I am sure he's not the only one. All right. Well, as we said, a lot of the time we've been reading chapters from 10 in a Bed for our virtual bedtime stories, but yeah, tonight it seemed appropriate, since a lot of people might be having a little bit of extra trouble going to sleep, to read a special story about someone else who is having trouble falling asleep. Well, a lot of other very distracting things are going on around him, and that character is Pete the cat. Oops. There we go. This is Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues. And it is by Kimberly and James Dean. Pete and the gang had great day. They'd been at the beach. Surf and sun and tons of fun. Sometimes having a lot of fun can make you very tired. But when the sun went down, they didn't want the fun to end. Pete had an idea. Hey, how about a sleepover? More time for tons of fun. Groovy, say Pete's friends. Pete's place, let's go! The party was far out, but they knew they couldn't stay up all night. The gang decided it was time to say goodnight. On went the pajamas, and out went the light. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Sounds like everyone's ready for bed. Right? Pete was just about to catch some Z's when clap, clap, clap. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Grumpy Toad. I don't want to go to bed. I want to clap instead. Pete covered his head. Ugh. Has anything happened recently to you that has made you just want to cover up your head so that you could stop paying attention to it and just get some peaceful sleep? Oof, I think a lot of us have felt that way. That is the position that Pete the cat is in now. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. And good night, Pete. Time to sleep. Pete tried to catch some Z's when... Rat-a-tat-tat! Who did that? Pete asked. Whoops. It was me, said Gus the platypus. I don't want to go to bed. I want to jam instead. Oh no, Gus the platypus has a whole drum. That would sure be hard to sleep through. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Time to sleep. Good night, Gus. Good night, Alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Pete closed his eyes to catch some Z's. When he heard munch, 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 Pete had a hunch. It was Alligator. He was always up for eating, even when he was supposed to be sleeping. What could Pete do? All the clapping, rat-a-tatting, and munching was giving Pete the bedtime blues. But Pete had a groovy idea. He got out his favorite bedtime story and started to read. First to himself and then to the gang. Oh, and look at that! His favorite bedtime story is about himself. It's Pete the Cat and the 10 Little Monsters. Pete noticed it was finally quiet. No more clapping, no more rat-a-tatting, and no more munching. They all settled down. No one made a sound. Pete yawned and turned off the light. Good night. Sleep tight. Time to catch some Z's. Tomorrow was another day for surfing, sun, and fun. And that's the end. I hope that you all get some wonderful, restful sleep tonight to prepare you for another day of work and play tomorrow. And what we learned from Pete the Cat is that if you are having trouble getting to sleep because everything around you is making it really hard. Hello, Kaylee. Lots of cats in this room tonight. I guess they knew that we were reading a cat story this evening. Reading a story is always a great thing to do to get yourself ready to rest. Another thing that will always help you get ready to rest is a nice yoga exercise to keep your anxiety away. Now, we've been talking about these a lot during our regular virtual story time as well. But this one that we've done before during virtual bedtime, this is a special way to breathe before bed so that you can be sure that you go to sleep just perfectly relaxed and that you have wonderful, peaceful dreams. We call it alternate nostril breathing. And, you know, we still call this bedtime yoga. You might think of yoga as having to, like, bend yourself into different positions and all kinds of other things, but what's really most important anytime you do yoga is just to breathe in a way that calms your body down, just like we've been talking about during our daytime virtual story time. So let's do 5 alternate nostril breaths together to make sure we're all ready to sleep well tonight. Make a phone with your hand. Big breath in. Cover up one nostril as you hold that breath. And then cover the other one as you breathe out. Keep that one covered. Breathe in. This is our second one. Hold that breath. Switch. And let that breath out. Breathe in. This is our third one. Switch. Whew. And breathe out. Now breathe in. Switch. Hold that breath. And let it go. One more. I hope that left all of you feeling ready for some good rest and some sweet dreams. Good night. from the Newark Public Library, and we will see you right back here for more stories tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Jonathan Van Unicorn and I are always here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. with more stories, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Good night.